Every time I get on the internet and there's talk of leadership, marriage, relationships, gender roles, I'm always perplexed by how people talk about it. And I always take a step back and just think, okay, where is this person coming from? Because we're all informed and we all lead our lives in a way that is informed by our past, our traumas, our experiences. This particular video that I wanted to react to today, it was interesting because I heard something different, but the comments said something otherwise. So I wanted to just get into it a little bit and get your guys' thoughts on it. Let's go.
I am home all the time. I work from home. I am the one who runs the house. And he is gone working all the time. And he is still the leader of this house. I am also a very assertive woman. Still, he is to lead us and lead me. That is something that we have not perfectly figured out yet. Being led as a very assertive woman by a not as assertive man. Like, he's like very manly, but he's not as aggressive as I am, I guess. And the concept of the man leading the house, yet he is gone. I am the one who's home. So I know what's going on with the house. I know what's going on with the apartment complex. I know what's going on with our pets. All of the things. I manage it. He leads it. We have not figured out how to do that perfectly. That is something I'm learning to be led.
I'm dying.
Before we get into this lady's reaction as she's reading the comments, I wanted to just ask a question. Why do people come on the internet and talk about their relationships and the problems within their relationships? This lady is setting up in a way that, like, she's assertive, her husband's not, she's home all the time, he's not, but he's still the leader. But you can hear the doubt in her voice because she's like, da-da-da-da-da, yet, da-da-da-da-da. Anything said before the word but doesn't count. Her feelings around their dynamic is clearly something that's contentious for her, and she hasn't figured it out. Like she said, they haven't figured it out. So I feel like that's not a good time to come to the internet and bring it. You should be in a therapist chair, marriage counseling, talking to your husband, anything but coming to the internet. There are very few positive things that can come out of coming to the internet with your relationship problems, with your relationship dynamics, with your relationship drama. So I feel like there's some power in retaining some of that information for yourself and going to get some actual help versus coming to social media. Because as we're about to see in this next section, the comments were like, what are you talking about? Let's see.
Just learn the word lead. You let him role play. Whatever you say, I guess. I'm crying. You're doing all of this in an apartment. What is he leading? Like, literally, what does that mean? Leading you where? Astray. He's leading you astray. So you're managing everything and giving him the credit. That's not a... So it's an honorary title. Yes, girl, give us nothing. Literal word salad. I need to hear a concrete example of how he's leading.
Okay, that's enough of that. That's enough. As you can see, the comments were not very kind, and she actually ended up deleting this video. I couldn't find the original one, so this is the stitch of the video. But I just have some thoughts, like, why are people interpreting what she's saying as men should not be leaders? This whole idea that you're a human being, you're an adult, and you don't need a man to lead you is, for me, so simplistic. Because one, there's other areas of our lives where we are being led and we are adults. If you have a boss at work, you're being led by that boss. If you have friends, you guys will lead each other. The circumstances might change, but everybody gets led in some way, shape, or form in their life. So, okay, let's take that aside. In a marriage, why do we have such a hard time accepting the fact that men should be leaders of their household? I don't think there's any woman out there that wants a weak man. And the reason why we don't want a weak man is because men are natural leaders. Women can also be natural leaders, but I think there's leadership qualities that you can display in different situations, in different areas of your life. So her saying, I lead the household, I manage everything, I manage the schedules, I manage the budget, I manage this, I manage that. She's a leader in that aspect. He's a leader in the aspect that he's providing for his family. But overall, even if she wasn't doing all of those things, there is a certain traditional aspect to this dynamic, which is that men are the head of household, typically. Now, there's exceptions to every rule, but if you're not going to accept the traditional idea of men being the leaders of the household, then you shouldn't accept the traditional idea of a man getting down on a knee and asking for your hand in marriage. You shouldn't get down with the traditional idea of getting married in a church or getting married in the traditional sense, right? You're going to reject one notion of tradition, reject the whole notion altogether. But in a marriage, there has to be somebody, in any dynamic, there has to be somebody who is taking a leadership position. For some marriages, the woman takes more of that leadership role on. And it sounds like that's what's going on in her marriage because she has the more assertive personality. But in a lot of marriages, men are the leaders. And I think in a lot of ideal marriages, men are the leaders. And I know that's going to ruffle some feathers and people are going to be like, oh, you're pick me, you're pick me. That's not what this is about. It's you can't have two lions in one den, right? Somebody has to take charge. Somebody has to be the one to be at the forefront. And then, like I mentioned, that can mean somebody's a leader in this way and somebody is a leader in that way. That's not to say that you can have an overall leader who overall is the person who has like the vision for the family, right? And that doesn't mean that you taking that supportive role, you don't have a say. I did a quick Google search on qualities of a good leader, and I'm just going to read off some of the things that it says because it, for me, was the disconnect between what everybody in the comments were saying. They were making it seem like he's leading her astray or he's controlling or he's domineering or he's all these things. But a quick Google search and I'm seeing good leader qualities: empathy, humility, mentorship, creativity, conflict resolution, patience, gratitude, visionary, integrity, emotional intelligence, resilience, decisiveness, adaptability, accountability, communication skills, inspiring. Like, these things have nothing to do one with gender, but when it comes to a household, both people need to have these things, and then one person might demonstrate that more in some aspect. But overall, I don't see how her saying that she wants her husband to be a leader or her husband is the leader is seen as a negative thing. And I think that's where society has gotten us to a point where we're like, well, I don't need anybody to lead me. I'm grown. I can do this. If you want to be in a successful partnership, you're both going to have to contribute and somebody's going to have to take the lead. So for your dynamic, that means you as the woman are the leader. By all means, be my guest. But for a lot of people, for a lot of women, they want their husband, they want their man to display those leadership qualities because oftentimes that's what makes you attracted to them. That's what makes them dependable. That's what makes you feel safe and secure when you're with them. If you are with someone who is not a good leader, you're going to feel insecure. And I think that's what we're seeing with this lady on the screen here. Not her, but the original lady. If you are with someone who doesn't portray those leadership skills, you feel a lack. And because you feel a lack, that means there's a need that needs to be fulfilled. Because there's a need that needs to be fulfilled, then there's an understanding that this is an expectation, this is a requirement for a household to be run smoothly. You can be a leader in one aspect and then play a supporting role in another aspect. So I guess that's just my take on it. Let me know if you guys disagree down in the comments down below, but the comments were clowning her. She ended up taking down the video, and I feel like she could have avoided all this if she just didn't come to the internet with her marriage drama. She needs to go talk to her husband about that because I don't think he's really gonna like hearing like he's not the most assertive person. Like, are you calling him a beta? And then I also, one thing I want to finish on, people who are saying, oh, you're doing all this from an apartment, you're doing all this, like, we don't have to shame people for their situations. You don't have to have a house, like a house to be a leader. That's not a prerequisite to being a leader. Like I mentioned, leadership means so many different things in different contexts. And in the context of a marriage, a house is not a prerequisite for you to be the head of household. House is not a prerequisite for you to be able to guide your family and lead them down a good path. And for those who are saying he's going to lead you astray, men this, men that, those men are not good leaders. Okay, you didn't see in the description anything about a man who's crooked, a man who's a liar, a man who's not faithful. That's not what a definition of a good leader is. So if you have those in your marriage, that's not a leader by definition. But if you have a man who's willing to pour into his family, who has a vision, who wants to walk alongside you and sometimes step up and walk in front of you so he can guide you and lead you, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I don't know, this gender conversation, like what should men do, if you're going to be traditional, be traditional. If you're not going to be traditional, stand 10 toes down and reject all the other traditional things that we typically expect of men as well. So bring on the pick me comments. I'm ready for it. Let me know what you guys think down below.